Hey everybody. This is my first time on live, so we'll see how this goes. Um, we'll wait for a couple minutes while see if anybody else shows up in the room. So we'll see how it goes. Hey Julian, see you. Hey Robin. How's it going, man? How are you? We'll wait for a couple minutes, see how everybody's going, and then we'll see how this all goes. How's it going? How's it going? All right, so while we're coming in, you guys can get a little setup of what we're looking at today. So a little French for you guys, when you call it, they call it mise en place, which means everything in its place. So when you start cooking, you kind of want everything all ready before you. So obviously we got our pasta today. We've got some peppers. We've got half an onion. I've already got a bit of onion cooking so that you guys can sort of see what it looks like once it's been cooking for a while. But I'll show you how to cut it nice and easy. We've obviously got some tomatoes. We've got some of our tomato sauce. And then some spices, some red pepper flakes. Gonna throw in some basil, some oregano, and you need some black pepper. And then of course, we're gonna need some salt. And there we go. A little bit of olive oil. All right, so basically all you guys are gonna do, hold on, let me see if I can flip this around. All right, let's see how this works. Okay, here we go. So as you saw, I have some onions in the pan already. Let me show you guys again. So these have been going for about 25 minutes on low heat. I just put my burner, it goes up to 10, I put it up to 2. So we'll see how this goes. So we've got these going right here. And our water is boiling. So when we're gonna do, for pasta, I'm generally gonna make it about 11 minutes. So I'm gonna go over here to my kitchen timer. 11. We're gonna come over here, open up our box of penne pasta, and get that going in the water. We'll head on over and start. All right, very cool. So here is what you want to do when you're making pasta. Obviously, it sounds pretty easy, but I didn't know how to cook at all until I was in college. I didn't do any cooking. My mom was amazing and cooked a lot of great food at home, so I just never really needed to do it. And then I got to college and suddenly the dorm room, the dormitory food wasn't all that good, and friends of mine had kitchens. So if I wanted to eat good food, I was gonna have to make it myself. All right, let's get some of the tomato sauce in the pan. So we're gonna open up the can right here. Just a nice little can opener. Pops right up. And we're just gonna pour it right in the pan. Once you put something new in the pan, you can turn the heat up a little bit because this is room temperature. So it's gonna cool down my onions a little bit, adding a little bit more mass. A little science lesson for you guys. So now that we've got that going, we'll let that heat up. And I'll show you guys what I did with the onion. So when you're cutting an onion, you can actually do it really easily. I know a lot of people will cry sometimes when they're opening an onion, but if you run it under some warm water, as you're taking the peel off, that's really gonna help keep the, the oil essences from getting in your eyes and causing you to cry. So you can have some really delicious Italian food without the tears. Take this off. All right, so it's important, the way you cut it is we've cut it along this axis, so it's long like this way. And we're just gonna take it on our chopping board. We're gonna cut it right in half. Let's see if I can angle this a little better. There we go, cut it right in half. You guys will see it's gonna look something like this. But what you can do is very carefully, halfway down, you can cut through, still connected, right? It's all still together, but there's a slice through the middle. Now what I'm gonna do is chop, 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 chop. And now we're gonna go the opposite direction. Chop, 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 chop. So you'll see what happens is all the onions have been cut in a way where it's very easy for them to break apart, right? You see the layers here? It's gonna make it really easy to build apart, break apart. All right. Hello. So that's gonna be, it's gonna be nice for your sauces if you're trying to do anything, if you're trying to cut up food for onions for a salad, or if you wanna put some onions on a burger. Some people like the slices, but this is also nice if you do it nice and small, because when you saute it all in a pan, it gets really sweet and juicy. All right, so I'm gonna go grab a bag and throw those in the fridge, because I will definitely be using these later. Put these in here. You really want to make sure that when you're cooking, you try to have as little waste as possible. So what we'll do is we take all of our scraps and then we put them in a bag and we compost them. And whenever we're back in school, we'll do more about that. All right, what else are we gonna put in our sauce? Let's put some pepper in. So we're gonna cut this right down the middle. This is a nice big pepper, so we're probably only gonna need about half of it. Put the other half aside. All right, take out the middle. We don't want to eat those seeds. And we're just going to slice it down. We got our nice strips. And then we'll just cut across like this. Get our nice little pieces of pepper. Here we go. Just sort of dump these in. Pepper's gonna add some nice color. So it just tastes good in general, adds a nice little crunch to it. Because when you saute up the onions, not only do they get sweet, they also get really soft. So the texture combination is really nice. All right, and we've taken care of our pepper. Let's add some real tomatoes to the sauce, right? It's gonna be a lot better that way. It's gonna be a lot fresher. Just gonna slice these up. Tomatoes are luckily very easy to cut. Quick story about learning how to cook. When Robin and I first moved to Baltimore, I really wanted to be the great boyfriend and make a special meal one day when Robin was having a migraine and wasn't feeling good. So I'm making some pasta, I've got a salad going, I think I was cooking up some chicken or something for me too, and it was the first time I'd ever had, more than like 2 pots open at the same time, 2 pots on the stove, and a knife got a little bit too close to one of the flames. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't really paying attention to it, and by the time I smelled it, you can see the back of this knife. You can see where the fire decided that it was just gonna melt all this away. So that was my first experience with almost setting a kitchen on fire. Luckily, I like to think I've learned a little bit since then. But you live and learn. Luckily, nothing got hurt. No one got hurt. Nothing actually got burned. The knife still works just fine. All right. So what you guys are going to see, we'll come over here real quick. We've got a little sauce going. Some of the chunks of the tomatoes are a little bit bigger. Some are a little smaller. Just give you gives you a little change in the texture. So that's looking really nice. We're going to turn the heat up just a little bit on this. You can see that. There we go. Because we want to make sure that as we're going to add the other materials, we want to make sure that we're adding extra heat to keep everything at the same temperature. All right, let's flip this back around. And now we've got about 4 minutes before the pasta comes out, so that's good. Try to keep my workspace organized. Unlike my classroom, you guys will know what I mean. Now that we've got just a few minutes left, we are going to cut up some garlic. So when you guys get garlic in the store, it's going to come sort of look like this, right? Little bulb of garlic. And then you've got these little parts that come off of it, okay? So what you're going to do, this is the trick, because they're all stuck in these little plastic, it almost feels like a plastic outside. You're going to put it under the knife and squish down. You can do that on the other ones too. And now what you're going to see is the skin just falls away and you're left with the garlic. Nice, easy little trick. Same thing from the other ones. It's just gonna pop out nice and easy. And for the last one, same deal, really easy. Now you can just cut these up as you would cut up anything else. With garlic, you're gonna want it nice and small. The bigger the surface area, so the more garlic is actually touching the sauce, the more flavorful it's gonna be. If I was just to throw a giant chunk of garlic in, if I let it simmer for a long time, yeah, I might get some flavor. But if I take that same bulb of garlic and chop it up, I'm gonna get the same flavor a lot faster. It's gonna be a lot more evenly spread throughout the dish. I'm sure you guys at some point have had some kind of a meal where everything seems like it's flavored great, and then out of nowhere you get like a giant explosion in your mouth with ginger or garlic or onion or some sort of strong flavor that's great when it's mixed in with everything. But maybe not so good on its own. So now that we've got this chopped up, I usually chop it up so that it looks something like that. We're just gonna throw that right in our pan. Give it a nice stir. All right, very cool. All right, we got about 2 minutes left on our pasta. Time's looking good, so that gives us a little bit of time to talk about the sauce. So obviously, when you're seasoning things, the basic seasonings that are in most foods are gonna be your salt and your black pepper. So we're gonna take a little bit. I would definitely say, especially with these more open mouth containers, put some in your hand first. I'm not super exact with the measurements. I'll put a little bit of salt in my hand, sort of like that much, and I'll just sprinkle that in here. And then with the black pepper, it's got the nice little grate. Just gonna shake some in. The nice thing about pepper and salt, you can always add more. Stir that around a little bit. All right, starting to smell good. Let's see, we're gonna put in some more oregano. Same idea. With something like oregano or thyme or basil that you might add, it's kind of hard to add too much. I mean, you certainly can, but I would need to really just be dumping on this. All right, and then we are gonna add a little bit of basil. Basil right here. Normally you see them grow and they have these big green sort of stalks. This is just a dried ground up basil. Not quite as good, not quite as fresh tasting, but you still get the same flavor profile. Mix all that in there. Put this down. All right, let's see our time. 30 seconds, just about 30 seconds. Beautiful. So we're going to stir this up. This is looking good. Of course, if you'd like, you can always add some cheese, which is what I'm going to do to my food. Robin is a vegetarian, so won't be having any cheese, which is totally okay. Doing a little cleanup here as we go. Like I said before, we've got our little bag where we're going to be putting all of our food scraps, and then we'll be composting that once the weather gets nicer. Here we go. That would be our kitchen timer. Okay, obviously you want to be nice and safe when you're on the stove. Throw on your mitts. Turn off the heat. We're gonna leave our sauce simmering just for a moment longer. Come on over. We're gonna pour all of that into our colander. You guys have all seen these before, right? You got your pasta in here. One of the things you're gonna want to do is give it a nice rinse. Throw some water in there. Just give it a nice rinse. What that's going to do is help sure that it won't stick together so much, so that when shake it out, let the water drain. So when you put it back in your pot, it's not going to stick around or any of that stuff. All right, let's put these down here. We're going to turn off our sauce. Let's take a look at it, see what it comes up with, see what it looks like. All right, so this is the sauce we got so far. You can see it's still a little hot. There might be a little bit of heat's coming down. So you can see the onions, they're really transparent, even with the sauce on them. You've got your tomatoes in here, your peppers. Obviously, the longer you want to spend on this, the more time you can spend. The longer that you spend making a sauce, generally, the deeper the flavors are going to be. But for our purposes today, I wasn't going to didn't want to make this too much time, didn't want to take it too long, because I want you guys to be able to have something that you can say, I'm really tired of eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for lunch. What else can I make? So once you got that together, we're going to just grab the pot. We're going to pour it in right in here. And once you've got it in the pot, put it back, stir it up. I found that if you want to add meat, something really easy is to just get like some chicken sausage at the store, or some pork sausage, depending on what you like. It's usually pretty inexpensive, which is definitely something that is important these days. It just adds a little bit of protein, especially for us meat eaters. But if you are not a meat eater, obviously there's lots of other protein substitutes that you can put in. So let's see what we got here. Switch that around. All right, so you guys can see our pasta here. Looking at it now, I probably could have added some more vegetables. I did make a lot of pasta. I don't like the sauce to be too runny, so I'm pretty happy with the amount of sauce that we got in here. Might have added some more vegetables, but guys, it smells delicious. I'm so excited to eat this, and I really hope Robin is too. Before we head out, I haven't had a chance to look at any of your guys' comments. So I hope, if you guys have any questions, anything you guys want to know about cooking pasta or whatever, or the other thing too, guys, is I would love for you to tell me what you guys want to make, and I'll see if I can find some recipes and we can make them together. Yeah. Seems like a lot of you guys are just saying that you're hungry and shouting at your friends, which is awesome. Hey, I mean, it's awesome to see so many of you guys in here. Yeah, that's kind of all I have today, guys. I'm excited to keep doing this. I'd love to see how many of you guys showed up for this. And yeah, we'll give it one final look before we head out. And yeah, there's our nice looking pasta. All right, guys, it's been really fun cooking for you. I really hope you guys have a great day, and reach out, email. You guys can text me how to make cup of noodles. All right, I might do that later this week or next week. That would definitely be a good excuse to go through my hot sauces and show you guys what I like to eat. You want lamb sauce? Okay, I'll definitely do lamb sauce. All right, you guys want a taste test? Let's see if we can get a little taste test. Got my fork. We're gonna go over. See what we got here. All right, our first bite of the pasta. Delightful, a little messy. It's a little hot, but that's really good. You can taste the onion in the sauce. You can taste the basil. I think it's salted well. I might add a little more oregano. And then, if someone at home has a big spice cabinet, you guys can go crazy with picking out the spices. You guys can see our spice cabinet is pretty full of stuff. Luckily, a lot of this is stuff that we got for the wedding, so that was pretty cool. All right, so if you guys, I haven't been able to keep up with all the comments, but let me know what you thought in the comments down below, and let me know what you guys want me to make next. And yeah, take care, guys. Have a good week.